If other people's opinions are steering your day, this is for you. That feeling can show up in the smallest places. You draft a message, delete it, rewrite it, and still feel unsure. You hear one flat tone, and suddenly your whole chest tightens. By the end, you'll know the first rule. Approval is information, not authority. Rule 1. Judgment is not a vote. That is the part most people miss. The room can notice you. It can react to you. It can even misunderstand you. But it does not get to become the manager of your choices. Epictetus makes that point in plain language through his teaching on what is up to us and what is not. Your judgment is yours. Their reaction is theirs. So when you feel that pressure, pause before you perform. Do not rush to explain your tone, your motives, or your value. First ask one simple question. Is this useful, or is this only loud? That question cuts through a lot of noise, and this is where the hidden cost shows itself. The moment you treat every opinion like a command, you start living as a defensive person. You are no longer choosing your words. You are trying to survive a room. That is not humility. That is surrender dressed up as politeness. The first rule is simple. Hear the opinion. Do not kneel to it. Listen for truth. Ignore theater. And keep your hands on your own steering wheel. Rule 2. Fear starts before the criticism. That is why people are exhausted. They are not only reacting to what was said, they are reacting to what might be said. They rehearse the awkward face, the hard email, the disappointed look, the group chat silence. Seneca would recognize that pattern right away. He knew that imagined trouble can torment us long before real trouble arrives. Think about how this works at work. A manager says, "Can we talk later?" And the mind writes a whole movie. You assume the worst, then spend the next hour acting smaller than you need to. Or someone takes longer to text back, and you start scanning your own last message for mistakes. That is not sensitivity. That is preemptive surrender. The practical move is simple. Separate fact from forecast. Fact, the meeting is on the calendar. Forecast, they hate me, I am failing, I made it weird. Those are not the same thing. The first belongs to reality. The second belongs to your nerves. So when your body starts bracing, slow down your interpretation. You do not need to answer a shadow. You only need to answer what is in front of you. Remember this line, an unseen judgment can be heavier than a real one because you keep adding weight to it yourself. That is the trap, not the comment, the story you build before the comment even lands. Rule 3. Feedback is not control. This is where a lot of people get tangled up. They hear advice, criticism, or concern, and they either swallow it whole or reject it all. Neither move is wise. The Stoic move is cleaner. Receive the message, test it, keep what is true, leave what is not. Marcus Aurelius wrote as someone who lived under constant public scrutiny, but the useful part for us is not his rank. It is his steadiness. The point is simple. You can be corrected without being owned. You can be watched without becoming performative. You can even be embarrassed without turning it into a life verdict. Picture a meeting where someone says your idea is unclear. The automatic reaction is to defend yourself, like your worth has been attacked. But if you pause, you may find two different things hiding in that one comment. Maybe the idea needs work. Maybe the speaker is careless. Maybe both are true. You do not have to collapse the whole situation into one emotional flare. Use a 3-step filter. First, is there a factual point here? Second, is there a useful adjustment I can make? Third, is the rest just tone, pride, or someone else's mood? That filter keeps you from overreacting and from becoming numb. The hidden strength is this. People trust calm correction more than frantic self-defense. The person who can hear a hard note without flinching looks far more solid than the person who needs constant reassurance. Quiet correction carries weight. Panic does not. Rule 4. Stop explaining your soul. A lot of people think every misunderstanding needs a full speech. It does not. Some of the damage comes from trying to win certainty from people who were never listening in the first place. You start adding detail, then more detail, then a final detail to defend the second detail. By the end, you sound unsure, even if your original point was solid. Seneca understood this kind of social pressure. He knew how quickly fear of judgment can turn into pointless performance. The more you chase a perfect image, the more fragile you become. Every extra sentence becomes an invitation for more scrutiny. Here is the practical rule. If the point is clear, say it once. If a repair is needed, make the repair. If someone is committed to misunderstanding you, do not gift them another hour of your life. Silence is not weakness when it is chosen with clarity. Think of a dinner table argument where everyone is half joking, but one comment lands wrong. The insecure move is to keep talking until you have drained the room. The stronger move is simple. You answer once, you mean it, then you stop. That restraint changes the atmosphere more than 10 nervous paragraphs ever could. This is not coldness. It is economy. Your words should carry weight because they are scarce, not because they are frantic. If you keep trying to make everyone comfortable with your existence, you will slowly become uncomfortable with your own. Rule 5. Reputation is a weather report, not a home. People often confuse how they are seen with what they are. Those are not the same thing. One changes with the room, the other is built by your conduct over time. This is where Marcus Aurelius is useful. Not because he was above criticism. He was not. He lived inside it. But he kept returning to the same question. What kind of person am I choosing to be right now? That question is much steadier than, what do they think of me right now? Try this in real life. If one person praises you, do not inflate. If one person dismisses you, do not collapse. If a whole group is quiet, do not write a story that your value disappeared. The crowd is often lazy. It notices one loud detail and misses the deeper pattern. Your character is what you do when the room is not impressed. It is how you handle the slower, less visible moments. The email you send when annoyed. The apology you make without theatrics. The promise you keep when no one is clapping. That is the ground floor. Everything else is weather. Once you see this, a strange peace appears. You stop asking every face in the room to certify you. You let your work, your conduct, and your boundaries speak in a steadier language. That quiet steadiness is harder to shake than the opinion of the day. Rule 6. The room can turn cold, and you do not have to chase it. This is a hard one, because social tension is physical. A pause gets longer, a joke misses, someone looks at their phone while you are speaking. You feel the temperature change, and your first instinct is to fix it immediately. But chasing comfort can make the moment worse. If you rush to please, soften, overtalk, or entertain, you tell everyone that the room controls your nervous system. Instead, plant both feet. Breathe once, keep your voice even. Answer the actual point, not the mood around it. Epictetus would call this a lesson in impressions. The impression is, I am being rejected. But that is only one reading. Another reading is, this room is awkward. Another is, someone is distracted. Not every chill is a verdict on your worth. Sometimes it is just a bad moment passing through. At home, this matters even more. A partner or family member may be irritated, tired, or distant. If you meet that with panic, the tension multiplies. If you meet it with calm presence, you give the interaction a chance to settle. The image to remember is a lamp in a drafty room. The air moves, but the flame does not have to vanish. That is the goal here. Not force, not performance. Just enough steadiness that the moment doesn't steal your center. Rule 7. Daily practice beats big confidence. A lot of people want to feel fearless before they act. That is backwards. Confidence usually comes after repeated proof that you can stay steady. You build that proof in small moments where nobody is clapping. Not grand speeches, not dramatic self-image. Practice, simplicity, endurance. The useful part for us is simple. If you keep rehearsing panic, you become quick to panic. If you rehearse patience, you become harder to shake. Try one small drill for a week. Before replying to a message that stings, wait 10 breaths. Before correcting yourself out loud, ask if the correction is actually needed. Before explaining a choice, write down the reason first. That tiny gap creates a space where choice can enter. And if you want a stronger test, let one minor misunderstanding stand without rushing to fix it. Not forever, just long enough to notice the urge to perform. You will learn a lot from that pause. Self-command is not built by wishing to be unmoved. It is built by surviving ordinary pressure without handing over your mind. That is why the small moments matter. They are the gym where your character gets trained. Rule 8. Choose the next move. That is the whole lesson in one line. Not the whole room, not the whole reputation. Just the next move. When you narrow the field like that, fear loses a lot of its theater. Ask yourself, before any reply, any apology, any defense, Am I about to act from principle or from the need to be approved? That one question can save you from a surprising amount of regret. If the answer is principle, speak cleanly and move on. If the answer is approval, wait. That is the practical Stoic test. Epictetus would tell you to guard the part of you that chooses. Seneca would remind you that imagined disgrace is often heavier than the real thing. Marcus Aurelius would bring you back to the job in front of you, done with steadiness and without theatrical concern for who is watching. So here's the quiet power move. Hear the feedback, drop the panic. Keep the useful part, release the rest. You do not become arrogant by refusing to be ruled by opinions. You become free enough to be honest, and that is what most people want, even when they do not say it out loud. They want to stop living like they are always being graded. They want a mind that can listen without flinching, a boundary without a speech, a spine without a performance. That is stillness and strength. If this lesson helped you, like the video, subscribe to the Inner Citadel, and comment with the situation you want handled with stoic calm.